Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome to my Saturday Hodgepodge video. Got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. I want to start off with kind of a channel update, kind of a heads up for you as my subscribers here, and that has to do with a new series of videos that I'm starting about institutionalized racism or the history of institutionalized racism in the United States. I've already made one of those, and I'm going to continue making those. There are a couple of reasons because I do think this is important, and it does feel like something I can do. In the wake of the protests and the murder of George Floyd by a white police officer in Minneapolis, African American booktubers essentially have made a series of videos of how tired and angry they are, and they have made several things clear in those videos. Number one, sympathy and expressions of care isn't enough. That white people have been doing that, booktube and otherwise, for a long time, and that while those things may be nice, their fear is that oftentimes those are things that white people express so they can not feel guilty and move on. They've also indicated that one of the things that they would like for the white community to do in general and on booktube is to stop asking them for education, stop asking them for book lists, stop asking them to educate us. And I think all those things are fair. And the reason why I think all those things are fair and all those things are right is because at the heart, institutionalized racism is a problem that white people have to solve. It isn't a problem that African American people can solve by themselves. If they could, we wouldn't have it. It is an alliance between the two, and with white Americans doing something about it, that institutionalized racism can be limited, probably in my lifetime, and hopefully brought to an end at some point. A lot of the booktubers I follow, a lot of the white booktubers I follow, a lot of the booktubers who live in other countries, and booktubers of all races I follow, I think are probably like me, and they want to do something. They are doing things. They're writing letters. They're signing petitions. They're donating money. They are expressing their belief in the idea of Black Lives Matter, and I think that's good. And I know that a lot of people are doing a lot more than they put on their channel. What I do want to do in this series of videos about institutionalized racism is to provide that education, to educate myself in the process of doing the research and kind of writing the scripts, and then to provide a source of education to viewers about the history of institutionalized racism. So what I'm going to try to do in those videos is always connect the American racist past to the American institutionalized racist present. That's really the goal of those videos. So you should expect to see more of those in the coming days and weeks, and I will try to make them topical to things that we still see coming up. So that will be happening, and in part, I guess I think as a retired history teacher, this is something that I can do, however limited its impact may be, and however limited its reach may be, and it's something something that I want to do. So those videos will be appearing on my channel, along with the other fairly normal bookish content, which I'll still be doing. So a couple of some reading updates. Several things. First, I was doing a buddy read this past week with Britta Bohler of House on Endless Waters by Emuna Elon, or Elon. She is an Israeli novelist, and this book is about an Israeli novelist named Yoel Bloom, who makes a trip to Amsterdam and finds out a lot of things that really kind of rock the foundations of his world. This, to me, was a really great book. I really enjoyed reading it, and of course, getting to read it and buddy read it with Britta just made that even better. But it is an examination of identity, of memory, of how we assign guilt, how human beings might act in a stressful situation, all the varieties in which that can take place. One of the things I learned from Britta is that it's also kind of the author examination of language in some ways, and kind of the connecting things across lines of language. It was just a really, really good book, and I certainly would encourage anybody who can get access to this book to read it. One thing I would say, I have one quibble with it, and that's the part of the one of the quotes or blurbs that's on the front cover. So if you pick this up and you see this blurb on the front cover, it says, "Extraordinary, a vibrant page-turning family mystery." It is that, but it is so much more than that. I don't want to put you off by saying that it's more than that, and I don't want to suggest that what's there on the cover isn't true, but I do think that sells this book a little bit short. This was a really good book, and I enjoyed reading it immensely. I also began my reading for what is this, the semifinal round of the BookTube Prize, and I'm reading one of the nonfiction groups, and I can't remember which one it is right now. It's the one that has Sea People in it, because that is the first book for the BookTube Prize I'm reading. I'm about halfway through. Of course, I can't give you any information about that, but I have been reading that. Thursday, I picked up James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room. This is a part of my Pride Month reading, where I'm attempting to read more books by LGBTQ plus authors. And given everything that's going on in the United States, I ordered a copy of Giovanni's Room so I could read James Baldwin. Again, I find myself in the time period we're in thinking about and listening to Baldwin's speeches and interviews along with Toni Morrison's, and I just really wanted to read more James Baldwin, because he's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. So that's kind of what I've been reading. On Thursday, I posted a writing vlog, which I kind of gave some updates about where I am with my reading, with my writing project. I just finished, or will have, by the time you see this video, will have finished the handwriting of Chapter 5. That's been pretty enjoyable. It is still one of those things where it's, when I sit down to write, I question whether or not I can be successful, whether or not it's worth it, is it good enough, but I am doing that. I also wanted to give two quick shout outs to booktubers, and then recommend two videos of authors whose books right now are a little bit hard to find. So let me do that second part first. So related to my discussion earlier about my series on the history of institutionalized racism in the United States, I'm aware that there is a buddy read or a group read along going on of two books. The first of those books is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, and that explores why white people are so sensitive and so defensive when issues of race are brought up. I have seen several videos by Robin DiAngelo in the last few days. I will put a link to one that's about an hour and 20 minutes long, which I think gives you a pretty good overview of some of her points, and I thought it was excellent. I'm not trying to get you not to buy the books. I'm just saying, if you want to know what this book is about, and you can't get access to it right now, this one might be a good place to start. And then also a really powerful video of Dr. Carol Anderson speaking about her book, White Rage, which I'll leave a link to in the show notes down below as well. This video did nothing but make me want to get a copy of that book, and I'm going to actually use what I learned in that video in one of my own videos about institutionalized racism in the United States later on. And then I want to shout out to booktubers. The first booktuber is a new booktuber. I don't think he's had a channel for all that long, but his channel is called Book Barrel, and one reason why I wanted to shout him out is not just that he's new to me, but I watched a review of a book he did, and he has a really, I thought, pretty unique, interesting 4-point process for reviewing books, which, I might copy from him, hopefully with his permission, so I want to make you aware of his channel. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. And then a channel I think I've shouted out before, and a channel that many of you know, and that would be the Artisan Geek, who goes by AG on her channel. And AG posted a video called Grow Some Black Lives Matter, which I just think is really one of the best, if not the best, booktube video I've ever seen. So I'll leave a link to that one down below as well. Anyway, there you go. There's my Saturday hodgepodge for today. Hope you're all doing well. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.